Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. It's the weekend. It's the weekend, and I know that the weekend has different meanings for different people. But I'm here, and I'm here with you. How amazing is that? Not as amazing as you. Now, we've got some meat and potatoes to talk to, but different kind of meat and potatoes today. I'm going to be doing two videos again. Video two is just going to be something that I'd like people to kind of contemplate, and perhaps some people who have been of a certain mindset could try at least to adopt a different mindset next week and give themselves a challenge. Give themselves a challenge. But anyway, this one, I don't know about you, but I find myself in the Idaho 4 case looking back, going right back to the beginning and reading stuff. I'm in a situation now where I've gone right back to the start to listen to what people have said, because I feel that all of the things that were being said before the gag order can potentially make sense to some of the things that now doesn't make sense. And I feel that some of the things that were said at the beginning by certain people in particular have been long since forgotten about. Now, we've been speaking this week about the crime itself. We've spoken about the weapons, we've been speaking about the injuries, and, and part of that conversation was regarding Steve Goncalves. I spoke about the fact that I believed that this had an undeniable military connection due to the fact that the K-bar knife, which we've been led to believe is being the perpetrator's choice of weapon, unbeknownst to me, is that this weapon is not used as a stabbing weapon but as a predominantly a slicing weapon. And when I went back and looked at where there'd been discussions between Steve Goncalves and Kathy Mabbitt, that she had specifically stated that the wounds were slash wounds. Anyway, point of this being, Steve Goncalves had made a statement that they didn't have to go upstairs. And this is something that I have spoken about multiple times because it's one of the statements that has just stuck out in my mind, and I wondered why he said it. And some people don't think that there's any reason for it, but I do, because what I think is I've gone right back to the start, and Steve Goncalves had stated that he had paid for the death certificate of his daughter. And within this death certificate, there was information regarding the injuries sustained. And I would imagine that Steve Goncalves likely knew a lot more than that as well, right back at the start. There was things that he had been made privy to. We know that some of the things that they'd been made privy to via the likes of Kathy Mabbitt, there is likely more, even more than what we know. And even what we know was perhaps too much. But he said it. And I believe that there's only certain things that people say for certain reasons. Now, I think that he believed, now whether he just believed it or he had been told it, I believe that he felt that Ethan and Xana were the targets and had potentially been attacked in that house first. Now, I found this here, have a read of this, where he talks about the fact that he has his own suspicions about who was the target. Now, if all of these people in this house, all of these kids in this house, I say kids, the young adults, these young adults in this house had nothing to do with anything negative. I mean, these were absolute pillars of the community. And do you know what? Young adults of this age are seldom pillars of the community, especially college students. Don't get me wrong, there are exceptions to the rule. But kids this age, and in fact I am going to call them kids because ultimately that is what they are, isn't it? Young adults, kids, when do you really grow up and become an adult? But Steve Goncalves, what did he mean when he said he had his own suspicions. And what would have spurned said suspicions? Now, it's either because of something he heard in the aftermath, or it's something that he had been told in the events and time leading up to when this happened. Now, what do we know? We know that multiple victims in this situation have connections to different things, from narcotics via the likes of Cara Northington, from the likes of Madison Mogan's step-parents. There are connections. Now, are they bad enough connections to warrant this? Unlikely, but can't be taken off the table. But with regards to Ethan and Xana, there were issues there. Ethan had got into altercations. He had got into fights. He had got into arguments with other people. Fights that seemingly Xana had to break up. And Xana has the most, how can I say, the highest input when it comes to the drug connection, if you like, because of Cara Northington. And it just is the way it is. Now, was Steve Goncalves alluding to that? Was he thinking that he knew about this connection? We know that Xana had the locks changed or lock fixed on her door literally in the days leading up to this crime happening. There's a multitude of reasons that could have happened. A multitude of reasons. There's a multitude of reasons for anything happening. We fixate on the conversation between Maddie and Kaylee and what did you tell Adam? I told him everything, they're going to get you. We fixate on that because on its own it can look very innocent, but when paired with what actually happened and the situation that we find ourselves talking about, it then takes on a whole new meaning. And again, the same with this situation with Steve Goncalves. They didn't have to go upstairs, and pairing that with he doesn't know whether his daughter and Maddie were the targets, and he has his own suspicions. Suspicions are born from knowledge of something. Born from knowledge of something that makes you believe that there's a potential for someone to be the target. And when you're talking about the target of someone murdering you or murdering someone, what did he know? What did Steve Goncalves know that he believed could have potentially made someone a target of this crime? Let me know down below with what we've been speaking about over the last few days. The military guy, the hunter guy, or just this criminology student from down the road a bit. Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in video 2.